This is Business Day TV, and this is the BDTV Breakfast Show. The big story on the Business Day paper says how CBN's new FX code will enhance market liquidity. This was written by Hope Moses, Ashike, and Onyechi Nwachukwu. We already spoke about it on the top stories, but she gives more analysis in the paper. It continues on page 31. So you want to grab a copy of the Business Day newspaper. It's always insightful, packed, and enriching. But this story here is right up your alley, Deeper. This says on the top left side, it says energy starved Nigeria flares most gas in 4 years. Energy starved Nigeria flares most gas in 4 years. Fled gas valued at $1.1 billion. Deeper, you want to throw more light on this? This is your baby. This is your beat.
Okay, so this is it. So we don't have power. We are struggling with electricity deficits. We don't have enough gas. Cooking gas prices are currently the highest in recent times, but yet we are flaring. Flaring gas means you are just wasting gas.
Okay.
You are just exposing gas into the air, and then you are throwing it away. It's like money. And the value of the gas we wasted in 2024 was worth $1.1 billion. So now imagine what $1.1 will do for Nigeria's economy. 1.1 billion is a lot of money in terms of dollars. Now imagine if these gas are not fled. Imagine we've channeled this gas into power, electricity. We should be talking about increasing electricity generation from 13,000 megawatts to about 40 or close to 20,000 megawatts. We are talking about the implication for industries. A lot of companies are struggling with because they don't have access to gas. We don't have gas for power. And amongst all of this, we are still flaring gas. And so this conversation is been happening for a very, very long time. We currently have laws in place that penalize companies or anyone who is flaring gas.
People, do you mind, can you just hold your thoughts for a bit? But can you really explain to us? I mean, think of me as someone who is just out there that has no idea or really doesn't know how this thing works. Aside from my cooking gas, where I might turn it on and then maybe I forgot to, lock it. How do people intentionally flare gas? Do people actually intentionally flare gas? You mentioned companies. How does that work?
Okay, so this is how it works. So Nigeria is Africa's biggest oil producing country, right? Now we have lots of oil in Nigeria. That's one conversation. We also have gas as well. But then again, all the licenses to drill for oil, all the licenses in Nigeria are for oil exploration. So what that means is we are not consciously seeking for gas. We are consciously seeking for crude oil. So look at it this way. It's like you have a big farm, right? You have cocoa, and then you have cassava. And so you get farmers to come do cassava in your farm.
Right.
And so in the process of drilling the cassava, you are stumbling on cocoa, and then you are just wasting it. Why? Because their primary aim is cassava. So that's it. So it's the same thing. So people are going to look for oil, and then they stumble on gas. So the license for oil companies working in Nigeria is, look, we've given you this oil field, go and look for oil. And then they got this oil field and they say, oh, fine, let's get oil. And then in the process of getting oil, you are getting gas along the way. And so it'll be like, oh, since we are not here to look for gas, let's just throw it away. And then let's focus on the reason why we are here, that's oil. Again, it's like fetching water in a well. You want water, and then you throw your bucket into the well. And after getting water, you are seeing all sorts of things as well. So you're just throwing all of those things away and say, look.
But gas is not tangible. It's not seen.
Yes, so this is it. So because oil is under, gas is, it's in the air, right? So because oil is liquid, gas is air. Now, the combination of these two things exists underneath the earth or below the ground level. That's it. And so because oil exploration involves you drilling into the ground, so you are putting machines into the ground and then you are looking for oil. And so in the process of looking for oil, you are also stumbling on gas. Again, these are not something, it's not liquid like oil. So what other oil producing countries do, or what the normal status quo you do in those kind of scenarios, you have machines in place that would also capture the gas. So as you're exploring for oil, you also have structures in place that would capture the gas that you might stumble on. And then once the gas is captured, which is what they call LNG, liquefied natural gas, you capture it and you can put it in a structure, what they call, there's something they call floating LNG. Floating LNG is where they are basically technology or devices or machines that put in place to capture gas. So once this gas is being captured, it's stored, and then it can be processed. So oil is a liquid part where you just flow it through a pipeline, and before you know it, you are sending it to one location. Gas needs to be captured, because if you don't capture it, you are losing it into the air, losing it into the atmosphere, and before you know it, it's wasted. So the development we are seeing in Nigeria is, in the process of looking for crude oil, we are stumbling on some gas assets, and we are flaring this gas away without capturing it and using it for economic development. That's it.
This was a little bit of a little masterclass.
So again, just look at it this way, that you try to fetch water. Because your primary aim is water, you get the water, and then you stumble on stones, and then you are just throwing the stones away. So that's what we are doing. We are exploring crude oil from the ground, and then we are stumbling on gas. Rather than capturing this gas, we are wasting the gas into the air. So what we should be doing is, first of all, we should understand the fact that we are a gas country, and then we need to start looking for gas. All of the gas finds we have in Nigeria were not things we consciously look for. We just stumble upon them in the process of looking for crude oil. So we need to start looking at the fact that when we give people license to drill oil, let's ask them if they have the capacity to also capture gas as well, so that these gas are captured. And the government have said it time and time again that, look, flaring gas is a big deal. We need to penalize companies that flare this gas. We need to penalize any individuals flaring this gas. So the laws are put in place to penalize them, but then implementation of these laws have also been weak, and that's the biggest challenge. But the point is, we need a lot of gas in Nigeria, because one of the reasons why gas, even cooking gas prices are up now, is because we don't have enough supply of gas to meet the demand. And so because there is little supply and the demand is high, prices are also high as well. So the way forward is, we need to start consciously looking for gas, and then we need to start giving companies the license to also explore gas as well. And then let's pay attention to our gas resources, and that's it.
Deepa, thank you very much for just breaking that in a very simple, very understandable manner for us this morning. Some of the stories that you also find on the Business Day newspaper today: federal government's 10-year bond rallies on 22.6% yield. DMO sees oversubscription on 7-year and 10-year bonds. Also went on to talk about the Lekki Ajah rail line seen driving Lagos economy. That goes on page 30. You want to grab a copy of the Business Day newspaper. But before we wrap up, we always like to see what's on the cartoon of the day. That's one of our big bestseller on the Business Day newspaper. It's always very interesting. Like I always say, very punchy. So we have that picture that you have on your screen. It says National Social Register. Now we have a man on the left and a man on the right. The man on the actually they both of them look starved in a way, so they have a magnifying glass, and the one on the left says, "My God, I didn't know there were so many rich poor people in Nigeria." Then the the man on the right says, "My friend, we are checking the wrong register." And then in the magnifying glass you have Honorable SC Mrs. Chi Alaji Chief. Deepa, what do you understand? What's your understanding of this cartoon? Because the interesting thing about our cartoons by Mr. Mike Asuko, it takes a level of intelligence to understand, and it always hits the nail on the head. So what do you understand by this cartoon?
Yes, so I think it's spot on. So this is the National Social Register. The National Social Register is supposed to be a register for the poor. That is supposed to be. This is a list that compiles the names of all the poor people or the weak people in the society, and then you give them stipends. You give them 20,000, you give them 30,000, you give them 40. No, I think 10, 20,000. That's usually the case. And so if you look at this cartoon, the poor people are looking for their names on this list. They can't find their names,
but they
are seeing the names of Halaji, big people.
Honorable.
And then you are shocked that but this list is supposed to be a list for this is supposed to be a list for the poor. It's like going to school and expect to see the list of 100 level students, and then you're saying 500 level. You're saying 400 level students, because I mean, all of the big people want a share. Look at it.
So how do they find their way to the register?
I mean, how is an allergy on this list, a chief on this list, an honorable member on this list, a very respectable Mrs. on this list? And then this just talked about, this just captures beautifully that point about the Nigeria Social Register, the National Social Register. That's what's the list in place. How do you share money to people without, who are the set of people in this database? Are they the right set of people that should be there? Are they the people who, is this list, who collates, who is in charge of collating the list? And then was it merit driven, or was it the VC list or the minister's list or the, I don't know. But then it just captures it beautifully, and we need to probe our National Social Register, because they are not meeting the targeted audience. There are a lot of people who are vulnerable in the society who really need these stipends to actually survive, but then they are not getting it. It's the rich that are having access to it. And I think the cartoon captures it very, very, very well.
I mean, it's such a beautiful way to capture some of the societal issues that we face here in Nigeria. You know, always, like I always say, very punchy, very striking, and it hits the nail on the head. Very spot on. That's how we wrap it up on the BDTV Breakfast Show today, and that's how we wrap up the cartoon of the day. It's a pleasure speaking with you, Diko. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
My name is Elizabeth Musa, and that's how we bring it to a wrap today on the BDTV Breakfast Show. Stay with us as we have more.